Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Monday, November 8th, 2021, and I'm having a hard time believing it's November already. I was working on my temperature piece this week, and it's like, how is it November? It feels so late in the year. Anyways, I'm here with my weekly cross-stitching update. I missed last week because I had a cold. Monday was the worst. Had a big sinus headache and just didn't feel good. The following days I was improving, but I was coughing a lot, so I figured it's a good thing I just made the decision to not do it last week. Could just rest and focus on one of my easier projects. I was able to clean out some things from my daughter's room and get that ready for a donation delivery, and it's all good. Feeling much better. So I have a lot of things to share. Not a lot of time to share it in, so let's get started. First off, I have two giveaways from 2 weeks ago. The first one was a redraw of the Wedding Sampler cross-stitch patterns by Stony Creek. So I had a technical issue with the editing of my last video, so I posted an update, but there were already a lot of comments on the first video that I deleted, so I wrote them all down. So I have old school numbers, not the random comment picker. I just have numbers and names. So there were 39 people who entered for the wedding patterns. So I'll do 1 through 39 on random number generator. And we'll see number 6. And number 6 is Jack and Sprat. So Jack and Sprat, congratulations. Let me know your mailing address and I will get these in the mail to you, and you can enjoy those to stitch for yourself or for people you know. And then the other one was for the planner by Lori Holt, Be in My Bonnet 2022 planner. I didn't bring up mine that's open, but this is the one I'm giving away. It's still shrink wrapped in a box. This one had 178 people interested. So 1 through 78 right there will generate 77. That's a fun number. Who is 77? Joanne Trishler. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Trishler. Congratulations. Joni Trishler. I recognize your name, so I think you comment frequently. Congratulations, Joni. You get the planner. So again, let me know your mailing address, and I will get that in the mail to you. I'll put my information up here again like I usually do. Email works, stitchinmommy7@gmail.com. You can also send me a private message on Instagram or Etsy. Stitchin Mommy in both places. So, yay, congratulations. I don't know that I'll do any more of those the rest of the year, but we'll see. I have to wait and see how I'm feeling, because it can get kind of busy to try to go to the post office if something is bigger and needs to be mailed special. But I do have a lot of extra, like older things that I would like to pass on. So if you guys are interested in a D-stash giveaways of older things, I mean, similar to these, where they're older styles, but there's a lot of them are still really nice. I have a lot of old magazines at some point I'd like to go through and see which ones I honestly will do anything with. So let me know if that's something that interests you, and maybe in the new year I can do some D-stash giveaways periodically, including maybe either entire magazines or just certain patterns out of magazines. What do you guys like? Let me know. Another administrative thing is the Sampler of Stitches Stitch Along by the Drawn Thread. Yes, the Drawn Thread Sampler of Stitches. And this is what I will be doing in the new year. At least that's the plan anyways. And a lot of you have jumped on board, really interested in doing this with me. I was gifted this with all the patterns. There's a different pattern for each set. And then there's, I was also gifted the specialty threads. The specialty threads have been hard to find by some people because you can still find all the charts on the Drawn Threads website. So if that interests you, you're welcome to go there. I had one comment who said they got this SWA 100/3 at Rittenhouse Needlepoint. So I just wrote that down. Rittenhouse Needlepoint is where they found theirs. Let me see if I can look through here. I can't really shed any light on it personally because I didn't buy this myself, but this is a Veriswa 103. It's this one on a big spool. This little stuff is SWA Pearl, so that it's a little smaller. And then these are MPI silks, which probably just stranded silk. Oh, and there's a thread card. How nice. So this is what you're looking for, I guess, in that case, and it's different weights. This stuff is the silk pearl that's a little thicker, and this is, it looks fairly thin. So I would imagine a regular pearl cotton or something else could also be substituted, and DMCs could be substituted for this. So if for some reason you really can't source these, I think you could find MPI to DMC conversions online, and these are beige. They're like ecru DMC, I would think. This one is maybe slightly darker than this one, but I say this one looks like ecru, and this one maybe 644 or something. Like pretty light colors. So, and they're very similar to the fabric. So that's maybe the idea, is maybe if there's some like pulled thread or hardinger type stitches in here, then maybe that's what that's for. So anyways, so Rittenhouse Needlepoint has them from what a commenter left. And if anyone else has any information about where to find these threads, leave it in the comments below so that everybody else can find it too, because that would be nice. I was starting to keep track of everybody who was interested in participating, and I lost track. There's a lot of you. So I came up with a hashtag because a lot of people suggested this, and I totally had not thought of it before, but Sampler of Stitches, the abbreviation is SOS, which is really kind of fun. So I figured SOS 2020 Sal made for a decent hashtag, because it's ideally something that could be finished in 1 year. So if you do one letter every 2 weeks, because each letter is pretty small. It's just this little section right here. So I think potentially that could be done in a few days, and then you would do another one every 2 weeks. So potentially this could take a year to finish. So that's why I kept the year in there. So SOS 2022 Sal, I think, will be a good hashtag for this. So if you're interested in this particular pattern, we can start posting on Instagram with that hashtag, gathering supplies and whatnot. So I had a couple people suggest maybe opening it up to all alphabet samplers and doing like an ABC Sal, and I like that idea. However, there's so many of you who like this particular pattern that I think there's enough of us that it's okay to narrow it down to just this one pattern, because I think there's already like at least a dozen people that I've heard of who are wanting to do it. So that's great. I'm excited. So all of you guys can help keep me accountable to keep up on it. I'm kind of struggling with my stitchy bug the last week or two, and maybe part of it was being sick, but I'm not sure where to go with my plans. If I try to keep things simple and just stitch what I want, if I try to make plans and goals, join groups, don't join groups, I'm not really sure. Limit the number of whips to focus on at one time versus working on all of them whenever I feel like it. I'm kind of all over the place in what I want to do. And I think at this point, at the end of the year, I feel like I'm kind of behind on some things, and I don't like feeling like that. So I want to get caught up, and then be able to have more freedom in my head, I guess, to go forward and know what to do with the rest of the things that aren't as, I don't feel like I'm obligated to finish them. But anyways, I'm trying to let go of some goals, but there's still some things I'm like, I want this done because I don't want it to linger. So let's see. Bear with me while I don't know what I'm doing. But it's okay. It's been kind of a casual week stitching wise, but I do have things to show. Let's see, a couple more administrative things before we get into stitching. A couple things from the Fat Quarter Shop. They sent me a Flosstube box, which is a new product they have, and it's very heavy. So if you're wondering what it's like, it's substantial. It's quite heavy and big. It has a drawer, and then you put the things in here. Let's see. So it opens with on the top, and it fits Ari floss spools and floss biddies, which are the like bobbins that the Fat Quarter Shop makes, which are a little bigger than regular bobbins. So it fits stuff like that. I'm gonna have to figure out what I want to do with it and where I want to put it, because I do keep a lot of my things on bobbins. I have some Ari floss I could put in here. And I have some floss biddies, so it'd be nice to maybe pick a brand, perhaps, of floss, like all the Classic Colorworks. And because that's the brand that I think a couple of their cells have been in. So maybe I could pick that brand and put them on the floss biddies and put them in here. I'm not really sure. Or I could just collect other things that are this small and organize the rest of my stuff with that. So that's fun. So that's a new thing they have. And then they sent me some quilting stuff, which I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with. Oh yeah, there's some floss drops in here too. I forgot about that. They sent me some floss drops, which are new. They are called Farm Fresh Eggs floss drops. So they look like an egg, and they have the little hole in the top and a big hole in the bottom for your floss, which are really cute. I think they look like they're plastic. I can't tell. Yeah, they're plastic. So they're really sturdy. So that's fun. And then they gave me several little foundation piecing books to make this square and a square, but all different sizes. These are so cute. Like 1.5 inch. And I've never done foundation piecing, but I think I'll hold on to these. I have one other book they've given me too, that for a log cabin, I think. I think it would be kind of fun to dabble in sometime. There's also the Geneva quilt pattern, which is pretty. I don't think it uses these, but it does use triangles on a roll, which you could find there, I think. Or that's the style. I'm not really sure. I know just enough quilting to be dangerous. And maybe I will give this one away, actually, Geneva. So let's maybe go ahead and use the word Geneva, because I'm going to show a quilt too, and I don't want to get people confused if they're commenting on my quilt that they're entering for this. So if you use the word Geneva, Geneva, you can be entered to win this quilt pattern. Because as I was noticing while I worked on my So Happy quilt, I do like making shapes and objects with the quilting. I think that's really fun. So things that are strictly geometric, I think I'm maybe gonna pass on, just because if I have time to quilt, I want to make sure I love it. This is another one. It's a block of the month called Rose in Bloom, and this one's on the fence for me as far as what you do with it, because you do make some flowers and things. Here's some more pictures. And they have another one of the whole thing. Yeah, I think this is the whole thing. So I guess you make like each of these little blocks throughout the year and then put it all together with some other extra fabrics at the end, which is kind of cool. something I've been toying with the idea, another thing you guys can let me know if you're interested in, is if I were to dabble in quilting, of making blocks, and then I was thinking of make a block so that I can enjoy the piecing process, and then make a project bag out of it to sell. Would anybody be interested? It would probably be a fairly simple project bag. It might be, but then it would have the quilt block on it. So I don't know. Let me know. Because then that would be an excuse to work on quilting projects and have something to do with it. So that's kind of my musings on that one. I really like the, they're starting to get ready for their 2022 Make-A-Wish charity quilt along and stitch along. And I love the blocks in that one, and that's the one that got me thinking, if I were to make those blocks throughout the year, then maybe I could not make it into a quilt, but just make each block into a project bag. And I think that'd be fun. So something I've been thinking on. Okay. Oh yes, one last one last thing administratively is in my Etsy shop. I have a new temperature butterflies pattern, which is the one the temperature piece I will be stitching on this coming year. And I wanted to let you guys know that I have kits available now for this pattern. So there's, I chose water lily fabric. So the Ada looks a little tanner. It's, I think, 644, and then the even weave is more like 524. It's a little more green. This is what I was hoping it was all gonna look like, but the Ada came a little more tan, like they're all water lily. But I have 14 count Ada and 16 count Ada in kits. And then I have 28 count Jobelin, which is an even weave. You can stitch it either over 2 or a smaller kit that's for over 1. So this one is small piece of fabric, a quarter of the amount of threads, to make it tiny, like I do. So there's different price points. It is more expensive than like the temperature tree kit. You'll see it has about double the amount of floss that the tree takes, because these are like, each butterfly is full of stitching, whereas the tree, the leaves were pretty small. So that's why it's a little bit more, but I have those available for you if anybody needs them or wants them for a gift for Christmas or something. You can have, those are available now up on my shop. So stitching. I did not work on my Mill Hill kit, and I'm not sure I'm going to this week. I'll share it just in case, but I don't know. Last week I wasn't feeling it. This is Hummingbird, and I've been struggling with stitching time in general. Like I'd rather zone out and do something else. So having 2 pieces going for one day is hard. So I'm not sure if I want to do just a little bit on this again. I did like that when I did it, so we'll have to wait and see. Mondays are always busy too because I'm editing this video. And I could work on this maybe while I'm editing, but I tend to play on my phone while I'm editing because it's a little bit easier to start and stop. So this is where I'm at right now on Hummingbird. So I'm not sure if I'll work on this today or not. I kind of have to wait and see how I'm feeling. I did work on my temperature piece last weekend and this weekend. I'm currently working on temperature typography, which tracks the temperatures within all of these letters. Finished the month of October and started November, which is what got me to thinking, how are we already to November already? This is 28 count light blue mystery even weave, 1/1 full crosses. That's where I'm at. And I had somebody ask as well, I have buttons on a lot of my projects, and these are homemade needle minders. I have a magnet glued, a strong neodymium rare earth magnet glued to the back of the button, and then there's another one on the back, and that's where I hold my needle. When I'm in the middle of my stitching, I'll pop my needle on there. And it's something that I didn't know existed until I started watching Flosstube. and once I tried it, I couldn't look back. Some people don't like it, and that's fine. Some people have projects with multiple needle minders all over them. Some people use them to hold patterns next to their stitching. I stitch in hand, so I need things really lightweight. So I like these wooden buttons are perfect for the lightweight. They don't weigh down my fabric while I'm stitching, and they're really handy. So I need to make more. I haven't yet. Take this out. So that's that one. And then my other one that I've been working on a lot is the Autumn Beauties Sow. And this is one where the needle minder that came with the pattern is a metal one, and it's bigger than I tend to have, and metal ones tend to be heavier anyways. And it was a little too heavy for holding in hand. It felt like it was weighing down the fabric too much. And so I went ahead and just put it on the corner of my pattern, and I'm stitching this in the car a lot, and I have multiple pages, so I just used that to kind of hold the pattern pieces together. There's multiple pages here, and that worked really well for me. So let's see. And in the meantime, I will poke the needle in my fabric when I'm not working on it, and it works. So here is Autumn Beauties in its entirety. They released a different part every Friday in October, and I thought it was so pretty. I had to join in, but it, as with a lot of stitch alongs, took a lot longer than I expected. Still not done with it, and I've been using it as travel stitching all month, and then this past week it's been all I've been stitching on pretty much, and I'm still not done. So I feel like there's not a lot left of the actual piece, but I do have a good chunk of border left. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna go back to, I would like to finish it here in the fall, because I feel like if I put it away and come back to it later, I'm not gonna be as interested. So I wanna try to finish it, but this week I'm gonna go back to travel stitching for the most part on this one, and I'm gonna do a different one for my during the day stitching. So here is where it's at now. This is using the called for everything, the oatmeal 14 count Aida and Classic Colorworks floss that came with, or that are recommended for the pattern. It also has a DMC conversion. So I have the pumpkin down here and a few flowers, and then the big flower in the border plus the rest of the border. So, but yeah, I finished the top half is pretty much done, except for I think there might be a little bit of border over here that's in the top half, but you don't really need the pattern for that. So I threw away the top 2 pages, and they have 4 different choices of words that are charted. So I chose the word harvest. They also had fall, y'all, pumpkin, and autumn. And I chose, most of the time I'm stitching with this fancy floss 1x at a time in rows, just because that seems to be the easiest way to do it. However, for the pumpkins, I was kind of going around the corner, around the sides of the pumpkin to make it look more pumpkin-y. And then on the harvest, the stick pole, I guess, of the sign, I did up and down because I figured that would be more appropriate. And you can see that on the back, like how I stitched with the pumpkin. I would go vertically, but in curves. And then this one is up and down, and everything else is side to side. So this has been fun. I have been enjoying it, but I do feel like I want to get it done so I can move on to some other things. And one of those other things is the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Mystery Stitch Along, which I really want to get caught up on. So this looks like now. It's called Cozy Cafe Club. Super cute. This was my travel piece until the Autumn Beauties started, and I just stopped working on it, and now I'm pretty far behind. This is the one for October. This is the one for September, and I'm not even done with this one yet. So, and then there's going to be one at the end of November and the end of December. I don't remember which way goes which, but I would like to keep working on this. So I'm going to bring this back out at home and work on getting caught up on this with my at-home time this week. So I'll be working on Autumn Beauties in the car. That one's 14 count, so it is really easy to work on as travel stitching. This is 28 count 1/1, so I'm gonna, or not 25, I think it's 25 count 1/1. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this one at home. And maybe, yeah, we'll see how long it will take me to get either of those finished. And then some other things I worked on here at home. I worked a little bit on Waterfall in Yosemite at the beginning of like 2 weeks ago, right after my video. I had made some grand plans and schemes about working on this for like 4 days a week. And I thought it'll maybe take me a couple weeks. And then I did the math while I was editing and realized I would have to get a decent chunk of stitching for like at least 4 weeks to get that done, and it just kind of blew all the wind out of my sails. Not to mention the fact that I was picturing 4-day weeks, Mill Hill Monday, 4 focus stitching days, and Fat Quarter Shop Friday, and then a weekend stitch. There's only 3 days in between Monday and Friday. It's Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday. So I don't know. I wasn't thinking. So I don't know if this is going to get done this year, but it would be nice. So we'll have to wait and see. I did do a little bit. I did 3 days on it before I just kind of fizzled out again. This one is forever falling prey to my lack of interest in it at times, because it can be a little bit monotonous with the color scheme. I like things pretty bright and colorful, and this one's a little bit more similarly toned, so maybe that's part of it. And there's not a lot going on. It's really pretty with all the clouds and everything. This is 18 count with 2 strands, and when it's all put together it's really nice, but I think it's more fun for me to like when there's something coming to life right away. And this is going to be a longer haul project. So I think I'm over here filling in some of the sky. I think I finished filling in the sky over here, which is progress. Losing my needle. I have a long string on the back. So that sky is, I think, mostly done right there. Oh, there's a few more stitches of another color in here, right here, which is the same color that's missing in some stitches over here too. So there's a lot of blends in this. It is a golden kite. Golden kite generally has a lot of blends, and it's pretty. The other thing I was thinking of that's different than what I was originally planning is I was originally thinking next year I was wanting to work on grapes to maybe try to finish it next year. And I'll show you what that one is. That's this one. It's another golden kite. And I love this one and I do want to get it done. However, I had a thought. Since I finished my aunt's piece, Quick Stitch Iris, and she has received it. Her birthday's this week, but she opened it when I mailed it to her, which was when my mom was visiting, so that they could enjoy it together. She loves it. She says she'll cherish it forever. She may have dabbled in cross stitch a little bit, but she's not a cross stitcher. She is a knitter and a spinner. So as a crafter, she appreciates the time that goes into it. So I'm glad she likes it. Where's the other one? I was thinking instead of grapes, this coming year, I should focus on Knitting Woman, because this one is for my mom. She knows I'm working on it, but I want to give it to her, you know? We're not guaranteed any days, any years, and I want to give it to her while she can still enjoy it. So this represents my mom and me and my sisters and our communal love of cats, and my mom is a knitter also. So that's perfect. And so this one, I've not put it into Full Coverage Fanatics challenges in the past because it's a half stitch project. And everything I would have to do a double of everything. So if I were to do the 22,000 stitches in 2022, with this one, I would have to do 44,000 stitches, which is a lot. And I don't know how many are left in that piece. Maybe I'll do again some editing, some calculating during editing, and see how many stitches are left in Knitting Woman, roughly how many I would need to do a day to get it done if I were to do the little bonus stitching every day. So we'll have to wait and see. That's something that I think would be really nice to get that done for my mom. So that, I think, is a better focus piece for the coming year than grapes. So I'm sure I'll still work on grapes, but I don't think I'll make it my focus. I think I'll make this my focus regardless of whether I can use it in an official challenge. So the other one I worked on for a couple days is Trick or Treat Fairy by Nora Corbett. This was purchased from Hirschner's online. You can get a PDF of this, and didn't do very much because I was busy and sick, but I did a little bit on Halloween and maybe like one strand the day before Halloween. So that's how far I got on this one. This is on 32 count mushroom slushy, Lugana or even weave, and I'm doing it 2/2. So I finished her skin and did a few more strands of the darkest brown. And I think this is the start of the owl right here. At first I was considering going up and working on the beading up here. There's beading and Krynic in the moon and the swirls and in her headdress. But since I wasn't feeling well, I'm like, I'm just gonna work on DMC and stick with finishing the skin. And then I picked the darkest color, did all of that, because then I figure I can just outline everything and then keep going with that. And so it was easy and nice. I finally got a little bit of it done. So hopefully I'll be able to bring that out some other time and do a little bit more, but it got some love for Halloween. Can't complain. So I'm going to show you my quilt now, but I think that's all of my cross stitching. So this coming week, the plan is to do Autumn Beauties for travel stitching, Cozy Cafe Club for my main stitching. I may or may not work on my Hummingbird for a little bit on Monday and Waterfall for a little bit the other days. We'll have to kind of wait and see how I feel. It would be nice to complete a challenge in the Full Coverage Fanatics Facebook group, because I don't think I've ever officially completed a counting challenge over there. But I don't know if this is the one, if this is the year that it's going to happen. So I'm going to probably have a cut here. So I'm going to stand on the other side of the bed and hold up the quilt top because it's big. I don't think I can show it otherwise. So I finished the whole top of the quilt. Not really in time to participate in their official wrap-up, but that's okay. I got the top done, and now I'm excited to go and quilt it. So that'll be a new adventure. I've never done machine quilting before. So I'm back. This is my backing fabric with these vintage ladies and the binding. It's already cut, ready to go. So now I just need to do it, and I have some Warm and Natural batting. The fabric I used around the edge, it looks like pattern pieces for dresses, for a vintage dress, which is really fun. Don't look too close at my borders because they're a little bit wonky in places, but I had fun, so that's important. And yeah, I've never done machine quilting, but I saw a couple of the other ladies that were participating in this stitch along did just some diagonals, straight lines, and I'm thinking I might try that because it seems more doable than, obviously, like the kind that's curvy and fun is really cool, but you usually need a fancier machine to do that. Somebody did their machine quilting in the the quilting shapes of the stitches was like spools of thread and needles with the string, and I was like, whoa, that's so cool. But I don't have a quilting machine. My sewing machine is from the 70s. It was a gift from my grandma. It was my grandma's machine. It's all metal. It's fairly basic. It'll do some some fancy stitches, but nothing, I mean, it's from the 70s. It's not a fancy machine. So it was the machine that she bought to teach my mom how to stitch when my mom was in high school. So it's got some sentimental value. It still works, and it just won't do fancy quilting. So I'm gonna see how I go with machine quilting this, and wish me luck. I don't know if I'll get to it this weekend, but I think that would be really fun. And with that, Lord willing, hopefully I'll see you next week. Happy stitching. Bye.